Welcome back, this is The Word with G, and this is our Stardom and Situm segment, Week 14 edition. I'm your host, Greg Larned, where you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. So we got our 2 Stardoms, followed by our 2 Situms. You know how we do it. First, we're going to go down to Washington in the tight end Jordan Reed. As we've talked about on this program and the waiver wire segment, the tight end pool, very thin, very shallow. But if you had Jordan Reed in your lineup last weekend, you paid dividends for you. He had a monster game with Colt McCoy under center because he looked his way early and often. He had 9 out of 11 targets. He caught 9 out of 11 targets for 123 yards. And if you're doing the math, that would be 21.3 points for you. Probably helped out big time since everybody else's tight end did nothing. If you had Jimmy Graham, nothing. It's a long time since Jimmy Graham has been held catchless, receptionless, nothing. But in Colt McCoy's 2 starts where Reed has played, he's been healthy. McCoy's targeted him 18 times. We know he's got a tough matchup this week against the St. Louis Rams, but he should continue to get a healthy amount of the looks. So I'm saying go ahead and start Jordan Reed, roll him out as a tight end 1, and give him a touchdown this week. He's going to go off. Start him this week against the St. Louis Rams. Our next one, it's a position we really haven't talked about. I don't think we've talked about it at all in this segment. Randy Bullock, a place kicker. Yes, we've got a kicker in the Stardom and Situms. I'm rolling out Randy Bullock. And the reason I'm rolling out Randy Bullock is because, as we know, and if you've been playing fantasy for a while, you know kickers highly depend on matchup, field conditions. If they're inside, if they're outside, if it's going to be snowing, if it's going to be raining. You definitely don't want a guy who's going to be playing in bad weather. You want a guy who's in the dome or is in nice, comfortable, warm weather, so it's easier to kick. So this is why I say go out and get Randy Bullock. He's playing Jacksonville. They're not in Houston, but they are in sunny Jacksonville, where on Sunday, hopefully it's sunny, not rainy, and just look for the most favorable matchup. I think Randy Bullock this week, like I said, against Jacksonville, he should have a good matchup. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if last week was any indication of 6 touchdowns, they're moving the ball this week against Jacksonville. And that should give Randy Bullock plenty of opportunity to kick field goals, kick extra points. And plus, Jacksonville has given up the 2nd most fantasy points to kickers this year. So start Randy Bullock. Next, we're going to get to our Situms. And the first one is another kicker? I feel like Taco on the league right now. We're talking about all these kinds of kickers. Matt Bryant of the Atlanta Falcons. You might be saying, Greg, didn't he just win the NFC Special Team Player of the Month award? He did, but I'm going to say you need to park him on your bench this week. It's all about the matchups. As we just discussed with Randy Bullock, all about the matchups. And Matt Bryant, he's got a tough one this week going into Green Bay. We saw it last weekend with Stephen Gostkowski and Mason Crosby as they both missed 40-plus field goals last week. It's not going to be an easy, as the season goes on and these cold weather venues start to get the snow and the rain and the cold weather, it's going to be uncomfortable for these place kickers to kick. And they might be able to hit them 30 to 40, but once you start pushing 40, 45, 50, 55, that's going to be really difficult. So I stay away just this week. I'm not saying drop Matt Bryant. Just put him on your bench. Drop somebody else you're not using, like a defense or a running back like Alfred Blue, or somebody along those lines that's not going to be playing too much. You don't have to worry about him. Keep Matt Bryant on your bench because he is going to come in handy for you. He's been very reliable this whole year. And at home, they play in the dome with the good conditions. Keep him on your bench. Next, we're going to get Coby Fleener. And I just realized we have basically a kicker sandwich here. We've got 2 tight ends and 2 kickers on our segment today. Just realized that right now. He had a huge game. He had 2 huge games out of his last 3 weeks where he tallied 13 receptions, 100-plus yards in 2 of those games, along with 2 touchdowns. But the number 1 tight end in Indianapolis is coming back. He's on track to get back this week, and that's Dwayne Allen. And that means, Coby Fleener, your value is going down. So I'm dropping Coby Fleener or just park him on your bench at the very least as a handcuff for Dwayne Allen. I'm not saying Kobe's not going to get some looks, but he's going to revert back to that tight end 2 status on the Colts and in general. So I'm going to say start Allen, coming back, and sit Coby Fleener on the pine. I say thank you, Kobe, for those couple of good weeks you gave us, but I don't think he's going to be producing at the level that he has been in the last recent weeks. So this has been your Week 14 stardom, sit-ems. We've got 2 kickers and 2 tight ends. So you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. This is The Word with G. I'm your host, Craig Larner. Catch you next week. Good luck.